Alright, so the first tournament of the season has just concluded today, and this is normally like a very exciting, cool time to be able to talk about like the brand new meta and everything like that, and we will get into that if you're here for the Fortnite stuff. But we also have a much more serious thing to talk about, and that is the current allegations that are on Peterbot over a video that has resurfaced of him saying the N-word multiple times and the F slur as well. We're gonna talk about it a little bit, give some of my thoughts on it. I've seen people saying that he could potentially get banned over this as well, so I also want to talk about that part. But if you are just here to hear how the Fortnite tournament went, I will also be talking about that some more after. I just know that the whole comment section is going to be flooded with it, whether I talk about it or not. So yeah, I don't even know how to start this video, so I mean, let's just talk about it. All right, now I like legit don't even think I can show this video on YouTube because of the things that he is saying in it. But like I said in the intro, all you really need to know is it was a video of him at, I'm pretty sure is his 16th birthday party. And in the clip, he did say the hard R multiple times and the F slur as well. Now, first off, what are my thoughts on this situation? Obviously, this is completely unacceptable for him to be saying. It doesn't matter what age you are. This is just obviously something that nobody should ever be saying. And I hope Peter uses this as a learning experience. It's just such like a stupid thing to like get in trouble for, like, especially when you literally see a camera right there. I just don't know how you could see this as being okay. And like, even if there was no camera, it should just never be a thing that is said. When I originally saw the clip, you know, I was really disappointed by it. As a lot of you guys probably know, I have supported Peter for the past couple of years now pretty heavily, so seeing this definitely did disappoint me, but I hope he uses this as a life lesson, and all he can really do from here is grow and mature and become a better person. He is technically an adult now, so I hope he just completely has that word out of his vocabulary now. For whether or not he is actually going to get banned, that is something that I feel like I'm currently leaning more towards. I don't think he is going to get banned. We have seen so many other pro players say this in the past. For example, like when Dubs or Scented said it, and none of those players ended up getting banned. Obviously, his reputation is going to take a huge hit from it. I think you guys have probably seen the amount of just huge accounts on Twitter that have posted this. And I'm wondering if Fortnite is maybe going to try to make an example out of him. But I just feel like for the amount of people that have said not just the hard R in general, but also just other discriminatory things towards other people in the Fortnite scene, and I've seen really no repercussions from it, I don't personally think Peter is gonna get banned over this. Or no, as of the time of me recording this video, Peter has made a response, and he said a video has surfaced showing me using a racial slur while at the agent house. This incident took place when I was 16 years old at the time. I was in an environment where I was heavily influenced by others and was asked to say it. That does not excuse my words, but it is important context for understanding the circumstances. I recognize now how deeply wrong and hurtful that language is. I take full responsibility for saying it, regardless of my age or the pressure I felt in that moment. I want to sincerely apologize to the communities affected and to anyone who has been hurt by my words. I am committed to continuing to learn, grow, and ensure that my actions moving forward reflect respect and understanding. But I think this was pretty much all Peter really could say in this situation. Do I personally think Peter is some like crazy racist kid or something like that? No, obviously not. But I also don't believe that a single mistake defines who you are as a person. And all he can really do, as he said here, is continue to mature, learn, and just try his best to be better now. But yeah, I mean, let me know what your guys' thoughts on this are in the comment section down below. And we still have the whole entire tournament to go over as well. So if you guys are wondering how the first tournament of the season went, let's actually move on to that now. Or no, we still actually have a lot to talk about for this actual tournament. Like, first place was the trio of Clix, Iamzo, and Higgs. They finished with 381 points, won 2 out of their 6 matches, and finished with the most elims in this tournament, getting 164 elims. This trio has also changed their drop spot for the global championships, and we'll talk about the entire globals map after we go over the opens real quick. But Clix's team is going back to Supernova Academy now, but they are still going to be contested. Second place was Rapid Kanata and Bolts on 339. Third place was Aviv Skittles and Dash on 332. Fourth place was Ritual, Peterbot, and Booga on 329. If you're wondering, no, obviously this team did not drop Cold or anything like that. I think Cold was just not able to play today, so they ended up getting their fill of Booga, since Booga, Threats, and Craze have all 3 officially split up now. Fifth place was Adris, Acorn, and Pollo on 305. Sixth place, Mush, Shadow, and Noxy on 300. I think Sphinx was also just not able to play this week. This is also some more of our LAN players. Seventh place was Seek Mason in Golden. 8th place, another one of our land teams, Phaser King and PH Zen on 293. 9th place was Taki Sales in Vert. And then rounding out the top 10 is actually one of our West land teams of Arc, Salco, and School on 283. We just have a lot of other big name trios and some land teams be able to make the finals as well. 12th place is not a land team, but this is just a cool team in general. We have Virgo, Miro, and Enact on 273. Some more West land players of Pars and Pump in 14th. One of our full land trios in 17th of Reek, Cooper, and Curly. And then that was honestly about it for all of the big names that were able to qualify to the NA finals today. All right, now here is the updated FNCS Global Championships map. The main thing that you will realize here is Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs are now going back to Supernova Academy, and they are going to be conned by Phaser, King, and PH Zen. And today was the first time that we actually got to see how that fight went in the finals. We also saw Focus, Mixon, and Upple leave the first order base, so Reek, Cooper, and Curly are fully on con, and then Focus, Mixon, and Upple are now going to con Wixie's trio at Shogun, which is a spot that they just quad land for, and then Pigstar and Demus also conned by Baka, Pars, and Pump now at the Rainbow Split. Are now in the finals on both NA and EU. We did have major problems with pros crashing. I heard that this is currently at the top of Epic's priority list though to fix this issue as soon as possible, but we literally had some games where like 15 plus players were literally crashing just all at once. The trio that finished in first place though was Vertaki in Sales. They were able to win game 2, getting an 11 elimination win, and then they also had a 6 elimination second in game 1. Second place was Muzz Shadow in Noxy. So 2 of our land players in Muzz and Shadow, and then Noxy being their fill for the day. They got a 9 elimination win in game 2. And then in third place, legit probably one of our more impressive Eval Cup winners of all time, we have the trio of Razzle, Edge, and Kim Kana. Sorry if I mispronounced any of their names, but they're actually Asia land players that were able to get a 6 elimination win in the very final game. I think these pros were legit on like 150 ping in this, so a super impressive, very cool win out of them. And then the trio that won game 1 with a 10 elimination win was Ritual, Peterbot, and Booga. What do I actually think about this meta? I'm honestly really enjoying it from a viewership perspective right now. It's super cool to just see all of the psycho hype plays that players can make and just the loot in general that everybody has. There is definitely a lot of probably pretty overpowered weapons in the meta right now that I want them to nerf, like the shotgun pistol. And obviously I'm not one of the people out there playing the game, and it seems like there is some pros that aren't enjoying this meta, but for someone that is watching, this has been a very enjoyable meta to watch. The rest of the leaderboard is like 5th place, another one of our land teams of Rapid Canada in Bolts. Their first tournament at their brand new drop spot, they were able to get a 13 elimination 4th and an 11 elimination 3rd. Reek, Cooper, and Curly, another one of their first tournaments at their brand new drop spot, they got a 3 elimination 7th and an 11 elimination 5th. Chaos's trio was in 7th, Oliver OG, TK, and Higher in 8th. Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs in their first tournament fighting King's trio off spawn. I can't necessarily say the exact score. If we're just going based off of pure fights at the drop spot, I think it was 1-1 and they went dead even. But if we're talking overall throughout all of the games, it was probably closer to 2-1 or even 3-1 in favor of King's trio, because they were often able to eliminate one of the people on Clix's team, and then Clix's team would disengage and then go get the reboot. We only got to see them do a full fight off spawn 2 times, and in the 2 games that Clix was able to make it off spawn, they got an 8 elimination 3rd and a 8 elimination 6th. Is this a concerning sign for them for globals? I think it's going to be very fun to see if these teams are going to continue fighting for this entire season on who actually is the better off spawn fighting team, because as of right now, it looks like King's trio is going to be staying on NA. So this is definitely going to be a very fun storyline to follow throughout this season. And then rounding out the top 10, we had Threats, Ozone, and Chimp. Some other big names we had just outside that top 10 was like 12th place of Adris, Acorn, and Pollo. This team was pretty much just W King every single one of their games. I think all of these players are also back home now as well, so none of them are on 0 ping, and I don't think any of them were necessarily taking this tournament too serious. Phaser, King, and PH Zen finished in 17th, and their best placing game was a 6 elimination 6th. And then Enact, Miro, and Virgo finished in 21st place, and that was about it for all of the big names on NA. Here are the final statistics for the Eval Cup finals. If you guys are curious, the highest damage ratio was Ritual with a 2.21, most damage was Threats with 4,922, and the most elims was Bolts with 17 total elims. He continues to look very good. Let's actually move on to how EU went now though. Now in EU, we did have a lot of different fill trios, so I'm not going to sit up here and act like this is the most stacked finals of all time or anything, but we did still have multiple different globals, trios, and players be able to make it to the finals. Going over every single team that was able to qualify, we had like first place place of Swizzy, Pink, and Murstache. Now, if you're wondering where Queasy was at, he did still end up playing, but he is currently on vacation, so I guess he just didn't want to play with Swizzy and Murstache for the first Eval Cup, but he did still end up playing and qualifying as well, and we'll get to him in a little bit. Second place, though, is another one of our first full Globals trios of Pigstar Mandemus on 304. Third place was Helkis. Fourth place, another Globals trio of Seti, Yapko, and Panzer on 291. Fifth place was Sky Scroll and Sand Guild on 279. Sixth place is Gabix, Kaido, and Haijo. And if you're wondering where Mongrel is at, Mongrel is going to like some sponsored LAN event with Mr. Savage. So both Mongrel and Savage did not play this week. So Kaido and Haijo had to find a new fill of Gabix, and they finished in 6th. Another one of our Globals trios in 7th place of Venya, Pixie, and Marius. Chi and Mappy and Volko in 8th. Queasy, Anas, and Thomas HD. So if you're concerned about Thomas HD potentially quitting the game, it looks like as of right now, he is still going to be playing. Of course, this is not going to be like his official trio or anything, as Queasy is going to be in Globals. And this was more of something just for fun, but they still did look really good today and finished with 261 points in 6 total matches and won 2 of them. And then rounding out the top 10 was Vadil, Rezon, and Glabushke on 260. Both Chap and Savage did not play this week, so Rezon did need to find a full new trio. And so yeah, we have a lot of Globals teams and players in the top 10, but just not a lot of full official teams playing together. Some other big names that are going to be in this finals is like 18th place, one of our Globals teams of Focus, Mixon, and Upple. 20th place, I Drop Hari and Cammy. Fido, Trulex, and Skavi in 22nd. And then that is about it for all of the big names that were able to qualify. We did have quite a bit of big name players outside of that top 33, like 105th place of Pingwax and Malabuka. They only finished with 155 points in 7 total matches. Chino, Shark, and Ferdoxy finished in 111th. Pablo is also on vacation, so they had to pick up a fill for this week. Played with Shark, and they also ran into some crashing issues that we saw a lot of other trios deal with as well. Another one of our Globals teams in 117th place, not able to qualify, of Chris, Tayson, and Chicho. Clix, Higgs, and Yamzo ended up playing EU as well, and they finished in 125th place. I'm very happy to see that like the vibes and the grind mentality is not like fully cooked on this team after having a disappointing grand finals. It seems like they are using this as motivation, and they seemed as motivated as ever, because I cannot tell you the last time I saw Clix queue up for an EU tournament, especially something like an Eval Cup opens. As I always say for these Eval Cups, not really too worried about any of the trios that were not able to qualify. The new season quite literally just came out yesterday. They got to learn a whole different meta, everything like that. Next season though, when the actual Cash Cups start, and it's like a 2-day format, that's when we can start maybe raising a level of concern for some of these teams. But as of right now, I think they will all be just fine. Let's actually move on to how the finals went now though. Now in the finals, let's just say we saw a lot of teams crash. At one point in time in one of the games, we saw up to 19 different players crash in this Eval Cup finals, but at the exact same time, the end games were still pretty stacked, and this was very competitive. And the trio that was able to absolutely dominate these lobbies was iDrop, Hari, and Cammy. This team won 2 out of the 4 games in this tournament with a real potential to win 3 out of 4. They finished with 19 total elims. If we go over their match history, it's a 5 elimination second, 1 elimination 9th, and then back-to-back wins with 5 elims. And then in the very final game where they got an 8 elimination win, iDrop actually crashed in the beginning, and Hari and Cammy ended up winning the game, playing the entire game out as a duo. Now this is just such a exciting sign for things to come for this trio, not just for the rest of the season, but for potentially LAN as well if we're looking forwards. This is one of the very few, I would say, pretty good trios that does have a fully uncontested spot at LAN currently. I think at the exact same time though, maybe we have to take a little bit of a step back. I feel like the trio of iDrop, Hari, and Cammy are almost just like perfectly built for Eval finals formats. We all know that this is going to be a consistency trio that's never going to get that many elims, and in an Eval Cup, what is your goal? To win games. And so I think this is a great performance from them still at the end of the day, but I want to make sure that I'm not like over here saying that they're going to win globals now or something because of their performance today. Still though, very positive, great stuff from them. Very excited to see them in the future. The trio in second place that I wish that they were going to be fully uncontested at globals is Pigstar Mandemus. They were able to win game 2, getting an 8 elimination win. The other games before that was a 3 elimination 10th, 6 elimination 3rd, and a 3 elimination 11th. So another one of our global trios that also looked really good today. And then the last team to get a win winning game 1 was Queasy, Anas, and Thomas HD. The OG trio was able to get a 10 elimination win in game 1. I'm pretty sure Queasy literally said he's on like 60 or 70 ping in this. And so for them to still being able to pull off wins is super impressive. I was thinking a little bit more about it, and I feel like the reason why Queasy didn't want to play with Swizzy and Murstache because he doesn't want to like sell them when he's on higher ping. But I feel like Queasy is also not necessarily even one of those types of players that needs to be on low ping to do well. But also Thomas HD was just absolutely frying in the game that they won. I wish that he could have been at this globals or even just a backup player, but unfortunately he's not going to be either, and it's looking like we are 100% not going to have Thomas HD at this global championships after him literally getting second place last year. But we also saw Queasy say that him and Thomas HD is a real possibility for duos coming back now, and I think that would be such a fun duo to get to see again. I know I'm not trying to talk about duos too much right now, but I do think that would be very cool. The rest of the leaderboard is like 4th place of Zarbeth, TD, and Fanayan. They got the most elims in this tournament with 29. Venya, Pixie, and Marius, another one of our LAN teams, in 5th place. Their match history was a 7 elimination 9th, 3 elimination 7th, 2 elimination 14th, and a 5 elimination 18th. This trio also had a lot of problems with crashing though, so kind of hard to get a real grasp of how good they really looked today. 6th place was Focus, Mixon, and Uppel. Their best game was game 1 where they got a 12 elimination 3rd. I still though, either way, have been very impressed with what I have been seeing out of this trio, and like I said earlier, going to a new drop spot now as well. 7th place is Jake Buka. 8th place, another LAN team of Seti, Yapko, and Panzer. They didn't necessarily have the craziest match history today. Their best game was like a 9 elimination 9th. 9th place was Kylie, and then rounding out the top 10 was Sky, Scroll, and Sandgill. Some of the other LAN players that we had in this is like 19th place of Swizzy, Pink, and Murstache. Their best games were a 7 elimination 2nd and a 3 elimination 9th. Pretty much just take every single one of these trios placements with a grain of salt, because there's a higher chance than not that at least one of these players ended up crashing in one of these games. Rezon and Vidil finished in 21st. Their best game was a 7 elimination 5th. And that was honestly about it for all of the big names today. All right, now taking a look at the final statistics here now, the damage ratio, like always at the top of the leaderboards, is Thomas HD with a 2.96. Most damage to players was Hari with 4,377. Then if we read off the entire Elim leaderboard, we had Panzer in 10th, Pix in 9th, Murstache in 8th, Marius in 7th, Jake Buka in 6th, Chuck in 5th, Thomas HD in 4th, Hari in 3rd, Fanayan in 2nd, well tied for 1st technically, with TD getting 14 total elims. And then the most assists was Scroll with 21, Time and Storm was 15 minutes and 25 seconds, and then Time Alive was Cammy with an hour and 45 minutes alive. And that pretty much wraps up the first tournament of the brand new season. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comment section down below. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. YouTube says to enjoy Winnie's 2 videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.